The real estate industry was just flipped on its head, literally right side, jaw hook, bam. Something like this hasn't happened in such a big deal, but the question is gonna be, well, what the fuck are you gonna do about it? Well, what we're gonna be doing on this video is painting out some of the opportunities that are going to exist within the listing side of your business. What I'm gonna share with you in the next few minutes is going to be a creative way that you can revamp, reposition your entire listing strategy for how you appear or how you negotiate or present your services to your sellers. So stay tuned. My name is Mike Cuevas, I'm the founder of Referral Suite, and I create videos for people within the real estate industry, lenders, realtors, that help them take information and adapt it to their business today, mainly in the form of personal branding, client attraction, etc. And right now what we're talking about is probably the biggest news that's happened in the real estate industry since I've even been an agent. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means that you're gonna have to focus on listings because buyer agency is going to 100% get cut in the knees. You will not be collecting 2 to 3% per transaction as a buyer's agent if this goes down. And the reason for that is very obvious. The consumer and the public do not think 2.5 to 3% is worth it as a buyer agency fee. But this week's video has nothing to do with what's gonna happen on the buyer side. It's gonna be on what you need to do on the listing side. I'm gonna give you a couple different options that are gonna have you reposition your business and maximize and outbrand every single person. What would you do as a listing agent right now? Immediately as a listing agent, the number one thing that I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and repackage my services and I'm gonna introduce seller options into the market. Now, the very first plan I'm gonna go ahead and create is what I call a listing and buy package. And this is gonna be the list and buy special. I'm gonna probably, depending on what market I'm in and what I end up negotiating with a seller, I'm gonna look to get 3.5 to 4% on the sell and buy program. And here's what the seller gets for those services. Now, what the seller will get is my traditional listing package and how I would normally work on the list side, but I'm also gonna help them on the buy side. What I'm doing is I'm actually gonna go ahead, pre-negotiate everything up front. Now, what I'm saying is that with that 4%, not only am I gonna sell your house, but the second I get that thing under contract, I'm gonna help you go out and buy a new house, right? And I'll help you show you houses, I'll open doors for you, and I'll handle all the contract negotiation. That's gonna cost you like 4%. Now, hold up, let's break that down right there. From what real estate agents were traditionally used to was 2.5 to 3% per side. So let me ask you a question. If I was able to get 4% on a listing agreement and I was able to consider 2.5% of that side on the listing side, and I do this sell and buy program, what I'm really doing is I'm able to negotiate the services for my buy and the services for my sell on the listing side only. That way, when I go out and buy and help them purchase their next house, I've already been compensated a percentage of commissions during the list side as a part of that program, right? Now, when you're out working with buyers, my guess is there will always be a co-op commission offered of some kind. Now, if you cannot represent what that cost is on the MLS, you're just not gonna know what that is unless you have personal relationships with the agents who are listing those properties. However, I do not believe it's going to be in the ballpark of 2.5%. I think listing agents will start offering 0.5 to 1.5% of the sales price to a buyer's agent if in fact they do bring in the buyer. And if they don't, that listing agent will end up just pocketing that commission. Now let's go through option number 2. Let's say that a seller's like, you know what, I don't like the 4%, Mike. Great, well, I got something else, Johnny. I'm glad you fucking asked. Now the next program might be, I'm gonna do my sell and contract negotiation only on your buy. What does this program entail? Well, I would probably list this for, let's just say I take it for 3.25%, and that's what I negotiate with the seller. Well, I would still list their house like I normally would, but when it came to buy side, I could send them properties, but they are responsible for setting up their own appointments to get in and out those properties. They are responsible for seeing them. However, when they find a house that they want to buy, then we will facilitate the contract negotiation and everything post-facilitation as we normally would. But we're just not gonna be taking them around, putting them in our car, driving around, spending $300 on gas, $400 on dinner, and then catering these to our clients because we just don't have the income to do that anymore. Now, another package I would put together is the list only. My list only package now might go to say 2.5% or 2.75. The list only program would be exactly what it is, just a list only program. And what that list only program will do would only list your house. I'm not helping you on the buy side. I'm not helping you on any of that. But in the event you want to change your mind and you want me to, I can increase the percentage on your listing and I could go out and do those things. But you have to tell me you want me to do those. There's 3 separate ways you could reposition your listings right off the bat that'll have you standing out, differentiating yourself from other realtors or competition, and more importantly, creating options for sellers to let them choose what they want, not necessarily you. Stay tuned to see what we're going to be talking about next, because this is just one of a series of videos we're going to be doing for you, showing you how to adapt to this news, and most importantly, how to take advantage and prosper in it. See you guys next week.